Hey guys, welcome to the Powerful Man Show, where we help married businessmen save their marriages without having to talk about it, get unstuck, and gain clarity in their lives. As I like to say, life is too short for average. I'm your host, Doug Holt, with my co host, Tim, the Powerful Man Matthews. Now let's get this started.
Guys, welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. Mr. Dougie Fresh, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, my friend. Excellent. I got the family is out of town. So I'm here just getting things done and looking forward to doing a live video and ask me anything for the men that are in the movement. So I'm very excited about that.
Nice. Yeah, that's tonight.
Or
It's
this
exciting.
morning, depending on where you live.
Yep, very true. Very true. And the replays are posted in the Facebook group as well, aren't they?
No, they are not. So for
Okay.
men that want, we are going to allow this one to be a replay. So sometimes we don't. We just make them exclusive for the guys that are on the call who are
Uh-huh.
engaging. They can get a replay, but this one we are going to give an opportunity for anybody that wants the replay. You do have to email VIP@thepowerfulman.com. That's
Okay.
actually the line for the advisors, and the advisors will just tell me you want a replay of Doug's Ask Me Anything, and
Uh-huh.
they'll get that to you.
Yeah, they will. What kind of questions did you get asked last week when you did it?
I got asked a lot of great questions. So for a lot of the guys, the commonality from a lot of the men who were on the call last week is, their wife was 1.5 feet out the door, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, she was just done with them. She had enough. And the guys wanted to know, how do I regain kind of the paradigm here in the marriage so
Mm-hmm.
she can see all the great things that I'm doing.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Nice question.
yeah, they had a lot of great questions coming
Yeah.
in.
Nice.
It's always a great group of
Okay.
guys on there.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. So yesterday, I walked into the martial arts gym for my session with the instructor. Um, I was a little bit late. I was stuck in traffic. I was, in fact, about 15 minutes late. So I used to be a trainer, as you did. If someone walked in late, you were going to make them work, right? So I kind of had it in the back of my mind that there might be a slight punishment for this. But anyway, I walk in, and on the floor of the gym, he's got this big punch bag on one side for ground and pound. That was one station. And then the next station were the focus mitts that he would hold. Next station was the kick pad, where he would be calling out kick variations. And then the fourth station were the tie pads. And he said, right, couple of rounds on the bag, warm up, and then you've got 2 minutes on the ground and pound. And within that, I'm going to be diving on your back, and you're going to have to get me off you and keep on pounding, essentially. Then you got a minute's rest, and then you've got 2 minutes on the kick pad. Like I said, I'll call out the variations, and you're just going to have to kick. Um, if you allow your kicks to be a bit lighter and you slow down with them, I'm going to go for longer. I want to see full effort every kick. Okay. Minute rest after that. Then 2 minutes on the, I don't know if you said the focus minutes or not. 2 minutes on that, and then 1 minute rest, and then 2 minutes on the tie pad. So four stations in total, 2 minutes each, 1 minute rest. And we're going to go through it twice. So get on the bag, start warming up. So I get on the bag, I'm warming up, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, this feels, I've not slept very well. It feels rusty. I feel stiff. 8 rounds. I can never do 8 rounds. How am I going to get through this? Before I know it, the buzzer goes. First round of the warm up over. Getting the second round. Honestly, don't feel much better. Got a bit of headache. Body feels stiff. I've got DOMS muscle soreness from lifting the previous day. And before I know it, that round's up and it's time to get on the ground and pound. Buzzer goes, attack the attack the bag, and then I have this huge 14-stone man diving on my back, shrugging him off. It was exhausting, absolutely exhausting. And anyway, I start to go through each of the 4 rounds, and I realize about halfway through that I'm feeding the wrong wolf. I've got this story in my head that's going on all about how tired I am, how I'm aching, how there's so much to do, how I'm not going to be able to get through it. Just tell him to stop, just quit. Don't put your all into this kick. You can't do it. And I caught myself. Luckily, I caught myself. And I was able to turn it on its head during one of the 1 minute rests. I start walking around the gym and I'm like, right, this is why you're here. You're here to be pushed. You're here to be challenged. You did it. That was a good kick. That was a good punch. You did it. Keep breathing. Okay, you're feeling better. Keep going. I didn't even want to look at the clock during the rest period. I'm just in my mind beginning to feed the right wolf. Next round comes and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better. And I keep going, minutes rest. I just keep feeding that wolf, keep making sure that I'm feeding the wolf that's going to fuel me, right? Because in Powerful Man, we talk about there being two wolves. It's an old Cherokee tale. I won't dive into it right now. Dive into it in the activation method. But the idea is you've got two wolves at play inside of you. And there is going to be one wolf that wins. And there's been many times in my life in the past when I've allowed myself to feed the wrong wolf. And that wrong wolf then becomes the voice in the background. And let's say I would go to initiate sex with Amelia and she may not be up for it, maybe I've not picked the right time and I get rejected. Guess what? Which wolf comes up in that instance? And then let's say I haven't had a good night's sleep and I wake up to go in the gym and I lift a little bit lighter and I give in. Guess what? Guess how that workout goes? I give in to the wrong wolf. I'll leave the gym knowing that I didn't really push myself. And I've just allowed the wrong wolf, the bad wolf, if you want to call it that, to take over. So I want to talk about these two wolves, Doug, and your experience with them, and share some tips with the men to help them feed the right wolf. Because when they feed the right wolf, they start to tap into the potential, really.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about this without telling that actual story about the.
Tell it.
But no,
You
we'll
got it
move
there in front
forward
of
with
you.
it because I've
Okay.
had this experience many times. We all have, right? Where especially if you've had a long day. I mean, I recall, my daughter's 2 years old. When earlier when she was one, it just guys, if you've got kids and they're in that age, it because you're living it now. For those guys that you got older kids, you've luckily nature allows you to forget about those sleepless nights. And I remember distinctly going to the gym, and there's a CrossFit gym where I live, and that's where I go. And I'm a competitive guy, so I would always want to be one of the top guys, if not the top guy, during my class or for the whole entire day. And I'm sitting there going through the similar conversation that you're having, Tim, right? I'm like, oh, God, what am I doing this? I'm 45. Here I am doing 100 pull-ups, 100 box jumps, and I don't need to be doing this shit anymore. Going through all of those things. And that's what we'll call the bad wolf, right? I'm feeding the negativity. I'm feeding this idea. And when we feed that over and over again, it becomes repetitious. And that repetition then becomes our programming, right? It becomes our default. And we don't even know it. Like negative people don't know how negative they are. Conversely, positive people don't know how positive they are to somebody on the outside. So here I am. I remember jumping on this box, landing on it, knees hurting. And then I step off of it. And I just started laughing and smiling. Go, how lucky am I to be able to afford to go to a gym like this? Because the place I go to is not inexpensive at all. So I jump on the box again. Okay, knees don't hurt as much. That's interesting. Go, wow, how amazing. Like I'm training with some serious athletes here. Jump on the box. All of a sudden, my energy is increasing. And I'm just going through this whole thing of gratitude under my breath because I'm breathing like a freight train here. I'm a 220-pound guy. I don't know what that is in stones, but I'm not a light person. And I'm doing these exercises and I'm just going through gratitude. How amazing is that? 45, I'm still going after it, right? Perfect, not even close, but still going after it. And I started picking these little things to be grateful for. Remembering that, hey, let's make our wins easy. And what happened, Tim, during that, as I shifted the wolf that I was feeding, so to speak, metaphorically, my energy increased. Now, you would think I'm doing 100 box jumps this time. When this
Mhm.
hits me, you think my energy should be decreasing. No, I
Yeah.
increased my speed. My knees hurt less, and I was going faster.
Yeah, it was interesting yesterday when he first said, "Right, we do 8 rounds, then we get to some sparring." I was like, "There's not a chance I am making it to the sparring. There's not a chance I'm even gonna get through this twice."
Just go to the fetal
Uh,
position and let him hit you.
yeah, I'll push through it once, but twice, come on. Anyway, once we got through with the eighth round, I'm like, he said, "Okay, Tim, stretch off. That's it." I'm like, "Oh, we're not sparring." So what do you mean? I'm like, "I'm good to go. Let's let's spar." I'm not sure how long would have lasted,
Yeah.
but I think, like to your point, my energy had gone up and I'd kind of broken through, and I'd entered into that state where you can just hit a bit of a second gear. Athletes talk about it all the time, right? You hit a second gear and you're just able to just go boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, and you just hit a pace.
Yeah. Well, we also talk about this. You see this with guys that are in our community, our private community, talking. And some guy might have been going through a bad problem in his marriage, right? He's in the shit, right? He's in the tunnel or in the valley, as you want to talk about it. And he starts complaining about it. And, I remember this happened. One guy, I won't mention his name, just goes, look, man, be grateful she's still there. Like, my wife, she didn't wait around because I waited too long to join the activation method. I just waited too long. And this guy
Hmm.
still went through the program, even though his wife had left because he wanted to not repeat the pattern with a new relationship, which is smart. But it's perspective, right? A lot of this is
Mm,
perspective. You're tired, you're exhausted, and you start feeding that bad wolf, right? But you also remember that there's people that haven't slept in days, right? Or again, guys are listening to this because I know there's some of you that have a newborn in your house. Sleep is a is a thing of the past, right? You guys are running on 2-3 hours of sleep night after night, and somehow you do it. So it's all relative. And to a guy that's going through just a really disconnected marriage, right? And you don't know if your wife even loves you anymore. Well, the fact that she's still there means you got a shot. You got a shot at it. And that's something to be grateful for. Now you got to take action like you did, Tim, right? You had gratitude and you started feeding the good wolf, but you didn't just feed the good wolf, you took action related to feeding the good wolf. And I think that's a distinct difference.
yeah, very true. And I think it's very important to remember why as well, right? For me at least, when I'm feeding that good wolf, that reminder of, hey, this is why I'm here. I want this feeling. I want to be pushed. I want to be uncomfortable because I know when I'm pushed and I'm uncomfortable, that's where the growth is. Okay. Whether it's an uncomfortable conversation with Amelia, a partner, whether it's an uncomfortable conversation with somebody else, wherever there's a challenge where we're kind of fumbling our way through, we're trying to figure things out, that's where the growth is. It might not feel like it in a moment, and a lot of people avoid the discomfort of that zone, right? Because it's uncomfortable. A lot of the stories come up. It's a lot of the times where you realize what's really going on beneath the surface, be the stories of inadequacy. Well, usually the stories of inadequacy, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, gratitude is and perspective is a huge one. And then for me, at least, remembering why I'm doing this. And again, just to latch onto your point of perspective, I think that perspective of this is where the growth happens. This is where I'm going to come out the other side stronger, fitter, better, smarter, whatever it is, given the context, can often help push through.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, if you find yourself feeding the wrong wolf, so to speak, all you got to do is just change your mindset. And I can't think of the name for it, but there's a term that's used and it's a trick. And I think it's something that Charlie Munger uses, right? So Berkshire Hathaway, one of the titans of finance, is, for some guys, they're like, okay, well, I don't know what the good thing is. Right? I just don't know. I can't think of it. Well, then think of the worst thing that could happen to you and then just think the opposite. Right. I think it's a really interesting paradigm because if you're in a negative
Mm,
space, sometimes thinking positive just is too difficult. So, okay, go super negative, go really negative, and then think the opposite. What's the opposite of that outcome? I'm gonna box jump. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna hit my shins on the box. I'm gonna go face first into the ground. Okay, what's the opposite? I'm gonna land softly on this box now. And doing a box jump again. Of course, I don't do that because I'm too big. But I think that's a way you can do it. And also find things to be grateful for. Like I'll use marriage again, right? Because you and I were talking about this before we hit recording about somebody that we care about. If she's still in it, there's ability to save it, right? You just got to have the right tools in place and be willing to do the work and keep feeding the good wolf while you're doing it, right? When you're in the storm, you're in the pit, you're in the hell or the valley or whatever you want to call it, right? Just keep walking, one foot in front of another. I realize it's really tough. I realize you're going through a hard time, and I'm not discounting that at all, guys. I'm not at all. I've been there, so I get it. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. Raise your hand and ask for help. We have a free Facebook group that you can go into where there's thousands of other men just like you, business owners. And, it's not just Tim and I and the other coaches, but there's other men in there that have been through what you're going through now, and get some insight. Don't try to lone wolf it, to keep using the wolf analogy, and be by yourself. A lone wolf is the outcast of the pack, right? It's not the alpha, the leader. It's the lone wolf is the one that's kicked out of the pack and is forced to survive on their own. And most of them die, right? They don't make it. So come back in with a pack, surround yourself with great, amazing men who can give you that guidance, that insight, so you can keep moving forward. You can keep marching one step at a time. And I mean, again, that's why I like CrossFit, because I'm surrounded by other people, aging athletes, so to speak. But there's a guy in there that's, 22, I think he is, and he's amazing. But I'm surrounding myself with people that are pushing themselves, which then pushes me harder. There's no way in hell I would work out that hard on my own. There's no way, right? So you want to do that in all areas of your life. Whether it's business, relationships, area of self, wealth, all of these the territories, you want to have people around you who are pushing the limits and making you or allowing you to be a better man. Great topic, Tim.
Yeah, it is. I love it. Well said.
Well, gentlemen, as always, in the moment of insight, take massive action. And we'll see you next time on The Powerful Man Show. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this episode. But as I always say, in the moment of insight, take massive action. You see, there are two types of men that listen to a podcast like this. Those that go on from one podcast or show to another, just hoping things are going to change and realizing that they're going to be in the same place month after month, year after year. You see, I was this guy, so I completely get it. You may just not be ready. But there's also a second man that listens to a show just like this. And this is a guy who takes massive action so they can shorten the learning curve, compress time, and get results to be the wolf. See, wolf is an acronym for wise, open, loving, and fierce. Now, ask yourself, which one am I? And just be honest with yourself there. And there's no judgment on my end, but if you're ready to move from deactivated deer mode, which is defend, excuse, explain, react, to activated wolf, wise, open, loving, and fierce, then go over to thepowerfulman.com/grow and go there now. In fact, I'll make it super easy for you. I will even put the link right in the description here, so you can just click it and go over there now to learn more. Guys, in the moment of insight, take massive action. Go from deactivated to activated, because like I said, life is too short for average. And I'll see you on the next episode.